Yeah, we don't crowd the people. Video, this a dance a video, this a dance a
Give it up one more time, man. Steal.
All right. Let me see here.
Mike, can we use a shipping crate for our guest?
Yeah, but I also have a. Who's our guest?
My friend Luca is gonna pull up.
Okay.
Sold.
Different style. Liquor John. Never vibe. See? Black.
I'll put to the money around this video.
What type of music would you call that? Did you hear that?
This one?
Yeah, we don't
Like
crowd the
Delfino Square
people.
type of music.
The what?
Look up Delfino Square.
Okay. I got some music playing on right here. We're already live. Okay, hold on, let me see. Oh yeah, we're on here.
We have the tune everybody want know. Me even have the lyrics every boy want know. Empata pity pity my more. Squiddly did this, squiddly did I do.
Oh, you are? Why?
The rain fall, you go see the rainbow. Ice cream and gold color.
Well, the sun ain't even out yet.
When me come and dance, me have to start up the show. Video, this a dance a video. Video, this a dance a video. Who said call him? I don't know. Some of them are talk about the promoter. Some of them are say Mr. Lang the officer. Some of them are say I'm the advisor. If you ask that the broke back, I don't know. Video, the dance a video. Take you Mr. Back, me just a star on
There you
the
go.
show. Me rock a them higher, them me rock them low. Me rock a them two and them me rock them pro. Me chant that the stars are the king disco. Video, this a dance a video. A which party keep ready center. The people them a say we are the master blaster. Some of them a call me champion talker. Round the microphone and them a call me danger. Video, the dance a video, the dance a video. Hey, Cunningham, come down, come sing it down first, the one away, man.
Yes, world promotion is big, man. World is massive. Euro. Yes, I will.
Every time.
And we have the title.
Do it.
That I know say we able. Anyway. Enough of them attack, but them are at stable. Oh Lord, eh. Telling everyone say them a go conquer. Boy, but you we no fool and we know better. I want you to know only Jaja can conquer. Cause we rule bout ya. Yeah. So go down on your knees and pray to the Father. Ooh yeah. Say please Jaja, beg you make me little wiser. Ooh yeah. And if you should honor your mother and father, ooh yeah. In time to come and your days will be longer. And you will be stronger. Cause we have the cycle. Jaja knows say we able. What if a vegetable pan the table? One.
Capable, well capable. Capable, the block back capable. Capable, 20 rough capable. Come and dance all and we not idle. All of the bubble and them off the bubble. Say that Mr. Bank a classical example. Listen blacks so you feel comfortable. So we get paid on so we well capable too. Capable the blacks are capable too. Capable the block back capable beam. Capable and Mr. Tiger capable.
Full time. And the footing of the world owner. Get us started now. Say Africa, Africa, come make a reach. Africa, 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 now me living in Jamaica as an entertainer. They get me passport and they get me visa.
Hola. All right, Gun. How do you sound?
I sound
Okay.
pretty good.
Here we are. Sorry for the delay. There's always a little bit of a delay. I'm gonna share this.
Are we recording so that we can post the recording instead of the live stream?
No, because I still haven't gotten the SD chip. I need to get a new SD, and I just didn't think it was a crazy week because the Soul is now no longer working. So we
you
kind of
were
had to
spending
go
your time
Well, not-
leisuring.
a bit, but also just like sort of
Kind of like me.
damage control on it. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause it was abrupt.
The chapter had to be closed.
The chapter had to be closed. Jackson, what's good with that focaccia? These guys are like snacking hard. You ever notice how much there's like a wiser sort of. That's one thing we can jump into, Gun. We'll talk about the dynamics at the farmers market.
Yeah,
But-
let's do it.
But first, I want to talk to you about the dynamics of your sober living.
Yeah, the living situation I'm in right now.
Yeah, because we haven't really covered that.
No, I mean, we haven't really covered it. I have 4 roommates that are sleeping in the same room as me, and 8
crazy.
people in the same house, right? And so it's so different because I'm eating all these organic foods. You know, I'm drinking kefir and blueberries before going to bed, and everyone else is taking these like heavy meds. You know,
Wow.
there's this. We have this massive noise in our room from this air filter. And it's creating this crazy white noise, and the guy who sleeps right next to it is listening to Skyrim music, like adventure music, throughout the night, and it tends to wake me up from time to time because it's like kind of soft and chill, but then all of a sudden you'll hear this like chime, this like video game like ding almost, and it's just kind of annoying, honestly. Like the dude doesn't like, he likes white noise, yet it's
So he needs it as
To
a
sleep.
comfort to sleep.
sure.
So a lot of the guys that are there, they actually have drug problems or
Yes.
alcohol problem. What would you say? Give me a variety. Okay, you said including yourself. There's 4 of you in a room. So there's
Sure.
3 roommates that you have. Give me, without like being like maybe giving over too much personal information, but give me like
Yeah, I'll
a
give
sort
you
of
an example,
breakdown.
like a breakdown. You know,
Look at
like
this scraggly dog here. Look at this guy. He's a cute little guy. Hi. Wow. There's like the never-ending story dog right there, like as to scale.
What do you mean?
You ever saw the Never-Ending Story?
No.
Oh, that's a good movie. I mean, that's like a kids movie, but it's like
Sure.
it's kind of fundamental. But go ahead.
So back
Let's
to
not
the story.
digress. Yeah.
Some of my roommates are, you know, I honestly just don't really feel like talking about it. But I mean, in recovery, generally it's like people who have struggled with alcohol, people who struggled with hard drugs. Some of it's like pills and Percocets.
Your
and
roommates. I'm
some
sorry.
of it's heroin. Some of it's
Wow. Okay.
you know, like pretty intense shit. For me, I don't know if I've ever really struggled with drugs, although I definitely have had moments of like
we spoke about this last week.
overindulgence. Like
Yeah.
there was a time
you
where
have
I
a
had
potential.
I had to go to the hospital one time because I drank too much.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
How much did you? What was your blood alcohol level? Do you know? Do you recall?
I have no idea, but I just remember I had a broken leg at the time, and I
Yeah.
didn't have any I didn't want to take any of like the Advil or any of like the crazy medication, and so what I was doing is I was just smoking weed for the pain,
Yeah.
which seems pretty understandable.
Yeah. I mean, that's like self-medication.
Sure.
Yeah. So
I was smoking a little bit of weed for the pain, and my parents didn't support that, so they took the weed away. And in my rage, I ended up drinking a whole bunch of tequila.
wow. So as in a reaction to them taking your weed away, you drank a bunch of tequila. Like, where'd you get the tequila? Did you find
Just
it
downstairs.
from your parents' fucking liquor cabinet?
Yeah.
So it's funny, like in the way that
And it was nice tequila too. It was like some.
I'm sure
It was like
a-
some $200 bottle, like good shit.
It had like it had like a handwritten sort
Yeah,
of
yeah.
edition on it. I can imagine. This motherfucker wasn't cutting corners. He wasn't. This was no Jose Cuervo, is what you're saying.
Nah,
it was
this
like,
was no Tito's. This was like some. It wasn't even Casamigos. It was like maybe Clase Azul or
Yeah, it was
some good shit.
It was good. It was good. Okay, so did you enjoy it?
I did, yeah.
And so you had to go to the hospital and get your stomach pumped. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Damn. Were you like? What happened exactly to you? Like, what were you? What was your?
I essentially woke up in the hospital, and I was like, "Yo, nurse, what's happening?" She was like, "Oh, you're here. Your dad's outside. You can leave whenever you're ready." So I just like essentially like was like, "What the fuck's going on? I don't have my phone. Like I'm basically in like a gown." And so I left, and my dad was telling me about what had happened, which was that my folks walked downstairs like middle of the night because they heard noises, and I was like, I threw up on the floor in like pretty gross.
It was a scene.
It was a scene, right?
Yeah.
Like they were freaked out, so they brought me to the hospital, and it might have saved my life. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? So you drank,
Who
like, how
knows?
much of that bottle would you say that you drank? Like, the whole bottle?
No, probably like a third of it.
But it was like you opened the bottle, huh?
Yeah,
It was like your dad got a gift from a friend that traveled to Mexico.
Yeah, it was like a birthday gift that I
Yeah,
just
like some friend came back from Oaxaca, got him some rare sort of mezcal, and you just crushed it.
Yeah, I did.
Damn. And so your folks found you. And how old were you at this time?
At this time, I was 17.
So you were still in high school.
Yes. Yeah, I think I had to go to school the next day.
Wow. And did you?
Yeah. Yeah, I had like this full boot because I had like a broken leg at the time.
Well, you were a mess, kind of,
Bro,
at
it
the
was
moment.
just like
but this
it
is
was
still.
it was fucking.
But this is.
tough.
I'm gonna be honest. This is still sort of normal kid stuff. You know, I feel. You know, you get drunk. Let me put it this way. I mean, I'm not gonna put myself on blast. I got a DUI in high school. Do you know what I mean? I got a DWI in high school. Driving home, we used to go to this place called the Stone Pony. It was called Club Vinyl on Thursday nights, and it was all ages, and you can get a wristband quite easily, as you can imagine. Like, kids were
Yeah.
just up to no good. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, we didn't have cell phones. There was none of that. And when we left there, the Stone Pony is a famous venue in Asbury Park, which was close to our house. You know, and so it was like the stopping ground before bands would go and play in New York City. It would be like they'd play.
They play the Stone Pony.
They'd play the Stone Pony. Then they'd
step-
play like the Wetlands, or they'd play like, just all the the big, it was sort of like that size venue. You know, like
Local.
Yeah. So we would go to this thing called Club. It was called Vinyl, and it was on Thursday night. So I had school the next day. This is how you reminded me. And one of the biggest hustles in New Jersey is traffic violations. You know what I mean? So they pulled me over, and I couldn't even recite my ABCs. You know
What do
I
you
mean?
mean hustles? Like the
you know-
cops will hustle.
Well, it's just a way to earn revenue for small townships, is to bust people for DWIs and stuff like that. Do you know
What's
what I
a
mean?
DWI versus a
Drive-
DUI?
Well, I think it's driving while intoxicated or driving under the influence are the two.
So DWI is worse than a DUI.
I don't know if I don't really know. I just think that it's like, for lack of a better term, I've used DWI, but it's DUI or DWI. Either way, I lost
it's
my
the same-
license. I
yeah.
lost my privilege to drive for 6 months. I had to pay fines, all that sort of stuff. I had to work at a local car wash to pay the fines. It was, in the middle of winter in New Jersey. It's a nightmare. But thing is that
New Jersey in the winter sucks.
Yeah, it's just depressing, you know.
It's so gray and brown, and there's like the air is just.
But the long story short is that, like, you know, I had a similar, like, it wasn't the same, but it's analogous, you know. It's the same. It's like, and this is just, I think it's natural. You have all these things around that adults, and you want to be adult, and adults are like, you know, they're
Sure.
legally drinking, and like I said, you know, the difference in the club, and nobody knows at this place, is that you're wearing a wristband as you're 21, and you're not wearing a wristband, you're not 21. And of course, there's wristbands floating around everywhere, and you just tape it on with a little piece of tape, or you use that what's sticky of left of the thing. It's not like nobody cares. Do you know what I mean? So, and this like line, this definitive line between adulthood and in a way, I feel like your process that you're going through now is like that you're kind of still breaking away from your parents in a way. Do you know what I mean? Living under the auspices of their house, their household.
I feel like I already have broken away from that, although right now I'm in the process of rebuilding the trust.
But Gunnar,
I've broken a lot of the trust
let me put it
with
this
my
way.
parents.
Yeah, but they're paying for your
Sober
sober living.
They
and
are,
that's
yes.
not. And what I mean is that you're still under the auspices of their the umbrella of their sort of financial support. You know what I mean? They're like, and they want you to. They want what's best for you, and I can see that. And it's kind of funny. It's almost like it's like a. Trust me, even when I went to college.
It may seem counterproductive, honestly, because like it's great. It's amazing to surround. Like, if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, surrounding yourself with other successful entrepreneurs, or
Sure.
finding like-minded individuals. Here, I really have to look. Like, the thing about this sober living experience is that like I'm finding all the positives as far as like everybody here is looking for improvement. Everyone
Yeah.
here is, you know, trying to do the best job that they possibly
Yeah.
can. That doesn't mean like I'm surrounded by a bunch of young hustling business owners, people who want to, you know, get up early every single day, meditate, go to yoga, go to workouts. Like, I'm not surrounded by that community at my house. But the thing is that all I really do is sleep there.
Yeah, you can come and go as you want, correct?
Correct.
And so you have a curfew. You have to be back there at 11 o'clock, I think you told me.
Yeah.
And what time? And you can leave at any time in the morning. You have to.
Whenever.
So as long as you're in there by 11 o'clock, you can be gone all day.
Which is fine.
Yeah,
I go
you
to
can
bed
leave
at
it-
9.
Exactly. Okay, you go to bed. You're early to sleep, early to rise anyway.
Exactly.
And so when you're there, and you're there very little, what is the environment like?
Usually the TV's on. People are watching some sort of show or movie, and like the kitchen's usually empty. So I'm like when I'm there, I'm usually in the kitchen, you know, making some food, or you know, I'm early, like chilling at the in the common area, which is like this kind of like dinner table area. Just doing my work on my computer early in the morning. In the evenings, like I usually spend the evenings unwinding and relaxing, and so yeah, like I've got like an hour before bed where I'll just kind of like read or chill, get to bed. The environment is super chill. There's nothing wrong with the environment. It's honestly like perfect. It's bringing me to the like.
Is the house nice?
The house is
because
nice
I haven't
too.
seen it yet. I should come
You
by.
should honestly come by.
And maybe we should do a little podcast from there. Let me ask. So the guys that are in your room, how you doing, bud?
Let's grab this crate for my friend Luca. He just pulled up.
Where's Luca? Is that him?
No, Luca's right here. What's up, Luca?
Oh, this is Luca.
It's going great, man. How are you? I know.
What's up, man? How are you? Michael, nice to meet you. Oh, thanks, man. I'll give you a. Let me give you. You want to talk on here, Luca, for a sec? We were just going over. We were just doing.
We're just talking about my current living situation at the moment. I'm living in Cheviot Hills at a sober living house, and so we're talking about it. Yeah.
Luca, do you want to sit on this crate here? Is that okay?
I can do whatever. Yeah, I'll stop in for a second. I don't got too much time because I gotta go back to my mom's house, but I'll stop in and say a couple words. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We'll put you on. I mean, it's just fun, you know. We're just doing it fast and loose here, you know. So I'm gonna give you this little mic so we can give you so you don't have to. I don't have to put all these things on. This is just we'll do a little.
It's like featuring the podcast featuring
Just
Luca.
see if that works there, Luca.
Yeah, it works.
Hello.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah,
So
you can
Luca,
talk into that, Luca. And
how
then-
was your morning, bro?
It's good. Just got done with a 9.3 mile run.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
nice.
Yeah, I felt really good.
Are you on Strava, Luca?
I am on Strava. Yeah.
We should follow each other on Strava.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love. My Strava's a little. I don't know. I like to like play around with it more than I take it seriously. But I just.
I don't take it seriously, but I
Yeah.
mean, but I got a lot of miles on there.
There you go.
I'm going for 10,000 this year, breaking 10,000.
Yeah, I'm a newbie on Strava. I just started using it more recently within
Bro,
the past couple of months.
9.3 miles is
That's
no
a good
joke,
chunky
though.
run.
Yeah,
here,
it felt really good.
let me put you. So this is the left one.
This is left?
Yeah, there you go. So you know you can hear, and you'll like hearing yourself. How's that sound?
Hello?
Can you hear it?
I can't hear anything.
Oh,
yet.
wait a second. Here you go. Now you can hear.
There we go. Yeah, now I can hear it.
Now you're in there. Okay. Let me give you this. This crate, just so I don't have to set. Because you're only gonna be here for a sec.
Yeah. I don't need a whole fancy chair. Or anything.
Yeah. We'll get you. I do have a chair in there, but if you're just stopping by quickly, here, let me just do this, just so we don't have to take 10 minutes to. You can sit on it like that, or you can put it upright. Might even be more comfortable. How's that?
Yeah, that's perfect. There we go.
Okay. So, Luca, you're from Santa Monica?
Yeah, I just live a couple blocks down the road.
He's Stefano's son.
Oh, you're Stefano's son.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell your dad. You know, I live above your dad's.
Oh, you're okay. Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad always tells me that Gunnar comes and says hi and is visiting one of his friends next door. So that's the friend next door.
I'm the
Sweet.
friend next door.
Nice.
I see your dad all the time.
Sweet. Yeah. Have you
He's got
have you been to the
rose-tinted
restaurant?
glasses like I do.
Yep. Exactly the same. It reminds me of him actually. Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm Italian American, so I like that. He uses my last name's Caputo, and he uses Caputo flour. I know for some
That's
of
true,
his.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a cool ass name. I like it.
Yeah. Antiamo Caputo is Neapolitan guy. He's like Naples. He's a famous, I guess, because they all use his flour.
He's the one who made the flour originally, the Caputo flour.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then that 00 flour. Like if you don't use that flour to make pizza in Naples, you know, there's all those rules in Naples. Like
Yeah,
you
of
can't,
course.
like you can only use salt and like.
There's a reason the
certain
pizza's
tomato-
so good. It's
yeah.
because they like regulate it
They
basically.
regulate. Yeah. It's like you can't do this. You can't do that. You can do that.
Regulated pizza.
Pizza regulations, bro.
It's literally like the
That's what Italy
Gestapo
is.
for
They're getting out of hand.
Instead of like politics, they just have like pizza and pasta regulations and
Yeah.
laws.
And maybe even a couple fashionable laws as well. Like just being like, don't wear that. Come
Yeah,
on.
especially if you're like in Milan, like you have to
Yeah.
be looking nice.
It's true.
What about no Parmesan on seafood? Isn't
Oh,
that
yeah.
a thing too?
Yeah, it's a big thing. You can't
Yeah.
have like a cappuccino after breakfast time. Like if you're having coffee later in the day, it's got to be like an espresso. You can't
Yeah.
have milk in it either.
Totally. Yeah.
Beer with pizza, I think, is the way it is too. I'm not like too familiar with the rules.
You could
but I've
do
heard
like a
some of
light
them.
wine with people, which is funny because the light wine, the wines that we all, the wine that everyone drinks now is like young wine, and it's Italian wine's always very, robust, the red wine. So
Yeah.
like the whole idea of like the spritz in a coffee is from the German, and in the wine is from the Germans traveling to Italy, in Venice particularly, and being like, this wine's just too strong for us. We can't do it. So they had to water it down a bit with carbonated water.
So
And that's
that's
how
where the spritz
that's where
came
the
from?
spritz came from, because it's just too strong.
I didn't know that. That's
Yeah,
cool.
so-
That's cool.
I think a spritz is good with pizza. You know what I mean?
I
But you
agree,
don't want
yeah.
like too robust. I told you about those wheels. I want to start regulating people with their carts behind our podcast here.
Yeah.
And so your dad is originally from Italy.
Correct. Yeah, he's from
He
the
still
north
has
of
an
Italy.
yeah. He still has an accent. Where he's from? Turin, or where is he from?
Cortina.
Cortina. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where the Winter Olympics is next coming up here. It's going to be split
Good to see you,
between
man.
there and Milan. Mostly in Milan, but some there as well.
So your dad will be right in the mix of the Olympic because it's the Summer Olympics next will be here.
Yeah, or it's Summer Olympics here and then Winter Olympics there. I'm going to probably be in Italy in that time too, so hopefully I'll be able to go see some Olympic stuff.
Do you spend a lot of time in Italy?
No, I'm just going to go there for study abroad because I'm in school right now.
Oh, okay. What are you studying?
Biology.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
Pre-med track.
Oh, nice. And where are you studying? Where exactly in Italy are you is you're abroad?
I'm doing a program in Bologna.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Bologna is a very cool city. Have you been to Bologna?
I've never been to Bologna. I'm excited.
Cool city.
Yeah, it's
I
gonna
mean,
be
it's
sweet.
actually one of the coolest, I feel like, and I just had a conversation about this with somebody. Maybe it was your father. Somebody that I was talking about, Italian city. I really love Rome, obviously. Venice is charming, Milan, and, like these other cities. But Bologna has such character. I feel like it's like old and it's like graffitied and it's like it just had it's just got a real sort of, it feels local. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like it's so like Florence. It feels like it's American tour. It feels like a tourist city.
It's so touristy.
It's just too much.
I was thinking about going to Florence, but then when I figured out that my school has a program in Bologna, and I'll be able to study at the school there with the students in Italian, I was like, I got to do that.
Yeah.
It's the only way to really
I
immerse
think that's
yourself.
amazing. Totally. I think it's just like when I spent a very little time there, but when I was there, I was like, I need to come back here. It just felt rich and it just felt like real. In the way that in Florence, you're just like, this is like Disneyland, Italy. You know what I mean? It's just like
watered down, not real.
It just feels like you don't have to speak the language. Like everyone there speaks English. You just feel like you're also being extorted a bit as an American. You just don't. It just doesn't feel like it's. And there's so many exchange students. It's absurd, actually.
It's a lot. The program. There's so many programs in Florence for
and
study
it makes
abroad.
sense.
A lot.
It's beautiful, and it's like it makes sense, but at the same time, you're just like it's too saturated.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And so you grew up here.
Yeah.
And is your mother American?
She's Brazilian, actually. She's from
Fine.
Brazil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm first gen. Me and my siblings are all first generation American.
Oh, okay. Interesting. And what made them choose Santa Monica or Los Angeles particularly?
My mom came here for school. She went to UCLA undergrad. And then my dad, I don't even know, he just picked up and left one day and just decided that LA is the place for him. I don't really know why.
And is he, and he always wanted to be a restaurateur? Like, is he like...
Oh, yeah, that's all he's ever done. He owned a restaurant in Italy, and he's owned a couple in LA before Cola Pasta.
Amazing. I live above it, and I don't eat Italian food out often because it's just like one of those things where I'm like, I grew up with it. My family was from southern Italy. And as I was reminded at the other farmer's market, it's basically Africa. You remember the woman, she said, that's Africa. I said, well, my grandmother, she's from Abruzzo, which is Rome, and she's like, still Africa. I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that is really fun.
But she's from Turin. And, but they, I just had so much Italian food and I make it myself, obviously, and I make my own pizza, and I've experimented a lot with Mediterranean cooking. So I always kind of am like, I just don't eat Italian food out, really, but I'm going to eat at your father's place.
You got to come check it out whenever.
And I've heard the lasagna is banging.
Yes.
Yeah, this guy loves the lasagna.
That, according to Gunnar, but I've heard from other people that the lasagna is. A lot of people, we got in like a little discourse in our building, like a group chat, and a lot of people are like, that's my go-to, and people were kind of like, what to order. I hear the bolognese is also very good.
Yeah, that one's really yummy. It's the same sauce in both the pasta and in the lasagna, so you kind of can go either way, and it's still like insane.
Okay, cool. It's like does your dad use carrot in his bolognese? Do you know how he makes? I'll have to talk to him about it at one point.
I think he
because there's very
or he
little
used to,
tomato in. I don't even think they're.
Yeah, it's made like the base is the tomato sauce,
Yeah.
and then there's just like ground beef. I know he used to use carrots. I don't think he does anymore.
Okay.
At his older place, like the one he had before Cola Pasta.
The sweeten the sauce. Like I still sweeten my sauce with carrots, instead of
super
sugar.
Yummy.
Yeah.
I mean, putting sugar in the sauce feels almost illegal. Like that's just I don't
that's
know.
another.
It doesn't sit right with me.
I agree. No onions in the marinara as well, right? Did your dad just use garlic? What is it? There's all these hard and fast rules.
Yeah,
kind
I don't
of.
know how he does it. I need to start learning from him because I want to be a better cook myself. I don't know why I haven't started tapping into that market yet, but.
How many siblings do you have?
I have 2 siblings, both younger.
Both younger. Sisters, brothers?
1 sister, 1 brother.
Okay.
Each.
And what? So you're going into medicine. What are they doing?
My sister just graduated high school. She's going to Penn State for college to study psychology.
Yep.
And then my brother is in middle school, so he doesn't really know what's going on yet. He's a great trumpet player, but that's what he's got going on.
Does he play trumpet?
Yeah.
Is he good?
It.
We should have him come on to the show and play some trumpet.
I'm sure he loves playing trumpet for other people. Like
have
he's a
him
really
on.
shy kid, but like playing trumpet's like his way of
I'd love to
expressing
have
himself.
him on.
Next time you guys are here, you gotta text me.
Leo's such a happy human being. Like he's just
Let's have
happy
him.
to be there, happy to be
You
here.
know the whole
you know.
fam, Gun.
Bro, I would sleep over at Luca's house and we would like wake up and like play video games together. You know, we would be running around the neighborhood playing soccer in the street, football. You know, going to the beach. Like we grew up together.
Oh, okay, cool.
I knew this
Yeah.
guy for probably the majority of my life.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
amazing. So, and this is in Venice.
Yeah, down in Venice, because my really good friend that I went to school with when I was younger was neighbors with him. So like the 3 of us plus obviously Axel would
Yeah, plus
play
my
around
brother.
together.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we would all. I mean, Luca
And you guys didn't
would,
go to school together, though.
No.
We
Oh,
never went
okay.
to school
Just
together.
neighborhood friends, sort of,
Yeah,
which is cool.
exactly.
And so you, and then your brother. So yeah, you have your brother come by because I love young talent like that.
You
and
should
what does he
totally
play?
do
Is he
it.
a Miles Davis fan? What does he like? Does he like?
I don't
Does he
even
play
know.
attention to a lot of classic? Does
I
he
don't
play
think so.
jazz?
He-
What's his direction as far as his musical inclination?
Whatever
is?
his
Yeah.
music teacher tells him to play,
Oh,
he'll
okay.
play it. I don't think he has something that he really likes specifically.
Yeah.
He likes to play what other people like to hear. So because my dad's Italian, he learned how to play Bella Ciao and loves to play that for him. But other than that, I don't really know if he has his own thing that he likes to play because of himself.
You know, there's one thing. Your dad cracks me up. He still has the COVID mask on.
Yeah, I
Do you-
talked about it to him this morning. I was like, is that going to come off eventually?
And it's funny because it's like that's the way I wore it. And somebody sent me a meme the other day, and he's like, the way that you were during COVID is how you are. Convince me otherwise. It was like a little meme, which is true. I
Yeah,
kind of
makes
agree.
sense to me,
People
yeah.
people who are like fear mongers and like that went crazy over COVID. They are like that. That's their kind of personality. And people that are like cavalier, whatever, and I wasn't wearing a mask really. I wasn't I'll be honest, I didn't get any shots, and I just was, I'm just like, get away, this is a flu or something. Anyway, so they're all and I always had the nose, and I did the farmer's market like Gunnar did once a week with a friend farmer of mine in New York.
Uh-huh.
We moved here 2 years ago, my partner and I.
Got it.
It's a lot of activity. And so I had a joke with one guy, free the nose. He would always come to this stand. We were the whole free the nipple thing that was on Instagram. I guess it was a meme. I didn't even know about it, but he was this guy. We'd have this joke, this ongoing thing. He'd come over, free the nose, and it was psst. It was when people were at these markets, open air markets, wearing masks, creating lines 6 feet apart, certain people being like, no, you need to be 6 feet away. You need to be, monitoring each other. It was crazy.
Yeah,
it was a
very
little
particular.
bit, and it was absurd. And so this guy would free the nose, and I said to your dad, I still think he's still freeing the nose. So he wear it, and
He wears the mask with his nose out.
yeah, with his nose out.
So the mask isn't doing anything.
It's really not doing anything.
It's not doing
It's just-
anything.
It's just an accessory.
At this point, I think it's just part of his fashion.
Yeah, that's
it's
a-
just an extension of self almost.
And so before COVID hit here, and this isn't. I spent a month working on an exhibition in South Korea, and South Koreans already had SARS breakout. There's already these sort of things in Asia. These they're scared of catching a virus or passing a virus or whatever. So a lot of people had masks on, and the one DJ. He just had the mask on his face. We were working with him, and he was going to DJ the party. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, why do you have this mask just on your chin? It was a part of. He had headphones, like I'm wearing now, but he had a mask just on his chin the whole time.
Just
and I'm
right here.
Yeah, just right there, like as if he was going to use it, but never did. You know, and I'm like, what's with the mask? Like, I couldn't get what the medical mask was for no reason. You know what I mean? But then I understood when I went through COVID. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what it's like. A suggestion that I'm going to put it on. I care, but I don't know. But your dad's still at that dealing with that. And I asked him about it, and he wasn't very like.
It's so funny because the people who would wear the masks with like the nose exposed were the first people to like take that mask off as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Yet Stefano, he's still rocking it 4 years later.
Yeah,
5 years later.
And he wasn't like, he didn't like get the humor in what I was like, free the nose. He's like, oh yeah, you know, your dad's like distracted, like he's at work, and I get it.
Yeah.
He'd make
He's
a pasta.
Yeah, and he's opening a new place next door, and you know, I'm sure he's busy and dealing with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But he's a sweet guy. I'm like, is there a language barrier? I'm making a joke about free the nose. You know, it's my own inside joke with a guy that from like 6 years ago. But he's like, he kind of got it. But I just thought, I'm like, you're wearing the mask still. Is it like, you know, COVID or, you know, and he didn't really.
Yeah, I think it just gives him like a sense of security almost. But like, I don't know. At this point, it might just be a fashion statement. Like, he might just
And
be
you're
rocking
working
it.
with food too. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
one of these things. I felt like in the food, which was also absurd. You could still go to a restaurant and eat, yet they had plexi. Like, can you remember
I
how
remember
absurd
that.
it was? Like, as you guys are like.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean,
how old were you during COVID? What, you guys were both like 16, 17?
Yeah, around that age.
So you have the clarity. Like when I was 16, 17, I was questioning everything. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, adults are bullshit. You know, like, this is just absurd. This, you know, modern. What it is to exist in the world is just an absurd. You know, and you're in that transition period. What did you guys feel? How did you feel about COVID? Were you like scared? Were you like, this is kind of like nonsense? Like, what's going on?
That's a good question. I feel like there was a lot of thinking going on during that time. Like, it was also my first year of high school, probably your second year of high school.
Yeah.
that COVID hit.
Yeah.
So I was like, I already didn't know what the hell was going on because like high school is a brand new arena
Totally.
as opposed to like going from middle school to high school. So at that point, I was still already trying to figure out like my friend group, I guess, and like what was going on with me. And then that hit, and I just had to like stay inside. And like, I'm not a very inside person. I like to go outside and be social and hang out with
Sure.
friends. So kind of like just putting all those emotions and shoveling them down was like a pain. But I don't know. I guess it just like kind of got normalized over a period of time because that's just like what it had to be and like,
Yeah.
what we were used to for so long.
Yeah, Curtis. You made me think of this. Curtis Adams. Like, I'm trying to. The filmmaker. It's called Hypernormalization. He made it. He's a great documentarian from England. That just like Donald. It's mainly about sort of how Donald Trump became normalized as becoming our president. You know, like no one could have believed it in 2015 that Donald Trump could have been the president of the United States.
Yeah.
And then by 2016, and he's running, and it's just a thing that in COVID's one of those hyper normalizations. Like we couldn't imagine before it, and you guys were young, the possibility that we would be shut down in the way that we were. We were speaking about Gunner's curfew at his sober living situation, which is an odd thing to have a curfew, but we had like the idea that almost like we were quarantined in this way, that we had a curfew. I think it was 7 o'clock at night in New York City for a stint.
Yeah, I think it was probably the same here. I don't even remember, but yeah, it was crazy. I
That's-
guess, yeah, hypernormalization is the best way to put it. Just like nothing you'd expect to happen, and then when it does, eventually just gets to the point where it's so normalized.
It's just so normal. You're just like, this is what it is. I'm wearing a mask. I'm in the house before a certain time. You know, like everything's empty. I'm standing 6 feet apart from everybody. Like it was like, and places that you would think that would be, and I also saw this flip happen. And you guys aren't maybe so familiar with this, you know, what a liberal would be, but it was someone that you would think as a classic liberal, and what that means to be liberated, literally, you know, the term liberal. They were the ones that were the most controlled, like policing each other. Yeah. You know, like put them at like, you know, people in, you know, Park Slope, kind of like what someone that looked like an older hippie what you see around here as well, would be the first person that would be like, "Hey, you, put a mask on." I'm running. I'm like literally on a run, like in Prospect Park, and I'm like, I'm not around anybody. Like a guy careening his face, like on the bike path, because you kind of share a path in part of Prospect Park, careening in his bike and yelling in my face to put. I'm like, the danger in which you put yourself in and me in on your bike, careening into my lane to tell me to put a mask on, almost making contact with me.
Isn't that defeating the whole purpose?
That's what I
at
mean.
that
Like,
point? Yeah.
You're endangering the two of us. Like if you and I have a collision right now, it's worse than the possibility of us catching COVID, isn't it?
Yeah, like
And
both you on the floor, like.
And I'm running. Like I think I'm pretty like my health is healthy enough. Like if I catch it, I think I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to try to pass any sort of virus around and be responsible. It just was a weird, and I don't want to digress and talk about COVID, but I was just reminded and thinking about you guys being young and what your take is. You know, I always want to ask young people what their take is. You know, I'm going to be 50 this year, and I reiterate this on the show often. I lived a life up until, you know, my mid-40s without, in the absence of COVID. And here you guys are, like, you know, you're just like you said, entering high school as your first year, and this should be like where you're experiencing a whole new set of variables that doesn't include, you know, a pandemic.
Yeah.
What that experience was like.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. Yeah.
And I guess
crazy.
the catalyst to this was your father still wearing the mask,
wearing
and you
the mask,
you
yeah.
asked him about it this morning.
Yeah, coincidentally enough, I said so. Like, how's that going? Like, I don't know, very casual bring up. I didn't like force it on him. I was just like, so how's that going? But yeah.
And what was his response to that?
I think he just waved it off. I don't even think he said anything.
I
It was
wonder
kind
if
of like in motion.
Because I don't think I know what your father looks like from the nose down.
Lots of hair. He got a big beard.
Does he?
And he goes down to like here. Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's why he's wearing the mask.
The beard.
I mean, yeah, maybe it's like this sort of, it's a quasi hairnet. You know how you have to wear
yeah.
You know, you go to like Whole Foods and like if you have a beard, they're wearing a beard net, they're wearing a hair net.
In terms of like being around food and
Yeah.
working with it, could be part of the reason, but
It's sort of like an extra reassurance to the
yeah,
clientele.
it gives more reason.
And
to
they're
the
like,
madness, yeah.
and they're like, this guy's, it's sterile place.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's probably got an A on the window. Your father's probably runs a tight ship.
Yeah, he keeps it very like tidy.
I can see
the
that.
A on the window like means a lot to him.
And that's just like Mike.
It's Michelin, bro.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's impressive.
Like legit. I mean that.
We'll be down there soon.
It's a legit spot.
Yeah, you
really,
guys should come.
Really
I
is.
saw your bike parked out front.
Yeah.
He
Electric one.
recognized the fun.
My dad was like, "Have you seen it?" I'm like, "I haven't seen it." He's like, "Check it out. It's a nice bike." I'm like, "Yeah, it is a nice bike." And this is yours. This is sweet too.
This thing is a beast,
we're
bro.
running the power from it right now.
We're powering a
Oh,
podcast.
really?
So
from
the
the bike.
battery right there. Oh
Yeah. So we're running the battery. This is which my battery drained really prematurely. We'll see how it goes this week with the laptop. But the mixer is running from the battery. I might have to get an inverter with 2 plugs on it if it continues to zap the battery on the. But you're one of our not first guests, but we've had a few people similarly. It was cool that you came on. I mean, you could welcome to stay as long as you want. You got to get somewhere, Luca.
Yeah, I think I gotta. Yeah, it's about time for me to go. But thank you for having me on.
You got a running watch there too, huh? Is that a
Yeah, I got
Sunto?
it more recently, a Garmin.
A Garmin. Yeah, I had I run with an iWatch now. I converted over, but my first running watch was a Garmin.
Yeah, I just got this, and before this, I didn't have anything. I also have the Whoop. I kind of like doubled. I've had this for a while though, and
Yeah.
I just recently got this as I'm starting to get more serious about running.
What's
Cool.
your goal with running?
Right now, I'm training for the half marathon, but eventually, my goal would be qualifying for Boston. Which would be pretty
Nice.
cool,
That's
yeah.
I always want to qualify for. So you do it in 3 hours in your age group. You can
Yeah.
get that, no problem.
I mean, a lot of work, but yeah, hopefully
What's
by
the mile time for that?
6:55.
6:55, yeah.
Average
Pace.
6:55
for
pace.
26 miles. Yeah.
Shit, dude, that's fucking
You're
intense.
you're
bro.
cooking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I'm lucky to get.
Wait, that's
I
actually
qualify for my
cooking,
age now.
cooking.
Yeah, like to do 3:20, like 3:15 is where I'm. But you know, I'd still like to do under 3.
Under
It's
3 is,
tough.
like super, yeah.
It's tough to do 6:55 pace.
For
for
that
26
long?
miles for
Yeah.
3 hours.
It's brutal.
It's brutal.
Yeah, it's
it,
like
it really is.
years of training. I want to
See that?
do
See,
it.
there's a perspective. We're
Yeah.
talking
Yeah, that's-
years of
that's
training.
it.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
You can't just like people think they're gonna start running and they're gonna like they're in shape or they've been in shape or they went to the gym. I'm like, you're not in running shape though.
Yeah.
It's
You're
different.
not Boston shape.
Yeah, you're not.
Definitely
It's like you gotta train for you. Like I said to our this mutual that we know, that this friend, and I said, well, how can I go into the gym and just start? Can I go to Gold's and start bench pressing 300 pounds? And he's like, no. I'm like, exactly. Why do you think you're gonna run a marathon in like even 3:30? They were like ran the marathon in like 5 hours. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, when I run my first marathon, which I haven't yet,
Yeah.
like I'd be lucky to run sub 4.
That's what I think is a good goal. I think a good goal first marathon sub 4.
Yeah.
That you must know a runner. Do you have a friend, a family? Like who do you know that you're using as like your sort of litmus for running? Like do you?
I think a lot of my friends have just like also started getting into running, and some of them have a lot more experience than others. So I kind of like build off of them. And
Yeah.
I see them run like
Yeah.
farther and faster than I can, and
Yeah.
I like try to like work
Keep
with
up.
them and see what they're doing and talk to them about like what their goals are and what they've accomplished. So
Yeah.
I think that's where I'm getting my knowledge from.
Yeah, because you'll see a lot of in the people that start running, and running became popular recently. I feel like it has.
Yeah.
I've seen it ebb and flow throughout. I've been running since I was in college. Like recreate, as a kid I played sports, but I didn't run cross country because I played other sport. Like running
Yeah.
was a way to prepare for other sports in a way, and I didn't take running seriously until I got to college. And I've just seen since then, and just loosely paying attention, it ebb and flow in its popularity. Like it was popular when I was a kid in the 80s. Like it had like a resurgence. I don't know if it was Steve Prefontaine or whatever it was, the catalyst to make. But exercise in general and health in general was very popular in the 80s, they say. And then it's come back really strong, with all these. Have you paid attention to any of the ultra marathons and stuff like that?
I have. There was one recently where one guy from Australia, another from New Zealand ran one, I think, recently.
Yeah.
And they did like a lot. I forgot exactly what the number was, but they broke world records, both of them, and it was absurd.
So because there's this couple tracks. There's one that's called like the Cocodona 250. It's a 250-mile race that's like connects. I think it's Flagstaff to, it's two Arizona cities, and it's 250 miles. Maybe it's Prescott to Flagstaff, or I can't remember now. And then there's the Moab 240, which is one that takes place in Moab. And then there's a couple. The first one was the 100-miler, which is called the Western States, which was a Tevis Cup horse race. And then a guy created it to be like an ultra marathon that I can't remember his name now. But anyway, so now the guys are doing what you're talking about, and I think that's what you mean, is that they're doing FKT, which is fastest known times, on certain courses that might not normally be a running course. When you say the Boston Marathon, that's a course. There's the New York Marathon, all these marathons, and of course the original marathon in Greece is a certain, this is a track, but those are running marathons, obviously, but then there's these, like a guy has the fastest known time. Everything has the fastest known time now, and it kind of came out of rock climbing, I think, like how quickly you summit a mountain or something like that, and now you're seeing that like maybe the Arizona trail, any trail that, there's a fastest known time for the Pacific Crest Trail, which is, whatever, and it's assisted or unassisted. So when like if you're assisted, you have a team of people that are with you, making sure you have enough nutrition and all this sort of stuff. And then if you're unassisted, you're carrying it yourself and figuring it out. So that's it. Those are two different things. So the guys that you're talking about in Australia and the Kiwi guy, what do you know where they did a fastest known time at? Because now guys are doing like all of Africa. There was a guy called like the toughest geezer. I saw his and he was a redheaded guy from like England. He was like a ginger, very fair. And I'm like, you're like the last person that should run all of Africa. From South Africa to North Africa, he did the whole country. And so like they're just finding these random routes.
What did he look like at the end? Was he black?
He looked beat up, and he was funny. He's like,
New
no, I'm
ethnicity
the.
achieved.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he was just like black at the end. Like, no, he had like a full sleeve tattoo on his leg. I remember. And I think he was sponsored by Hoka. He had like a lot of, like hat on. He was like, oh, I'm the toughest geezer, just hitting them with the ones and twos. Like he, like the ones and twos was like pounding the tarmac. Like he had this.
Hit it with the left and the right.
Yeah, like he was like this. Like he was funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, and he had like, he would be very. It's cathartic, you're out there and you're exposed, and you're also like just dealing your threshold, like your threshold for embarrassment is he's like shat himself a number of times, and
Yeah,
and,
running is freaking awesome for just like getting yourself out there. Like
Yeah.
you're especially running in public where like the first time you run in public, you're like, holy shit, everyone's looking at me like, what the fuck? Next time you run in public, you're just like in your zone.
That's why
it just
I
like
always
happens so fast.
Yeah, I know when people are new running. You know what I mean? I know. Not only do their stride is bad, like there's certain things, but they're still making like a self-conscious face. They're like, I'm like, you can't. If you're a serious runner, you're not gonna have that pout
You're like-
for days. Like for hours.
You know, like-
Yeah, you look like you're going through it by
Yeah.
the end of it. Like you don't
For
look
sure.
like you're
Yeah,
trying
or
really
you're
hard.
just not self-conscious anymore.
Yeah.
You
You're
hit
like
a point.
spitting,
Yeah, you hit a point where there's no longer a self-consciousness about what you look like doing this thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's just like,
Yeah.
and then once you get past that point, you can start like tweaking. Your stride has to be efficient. How you strike your feet. There's so many variables.
There's also the runner's diet, like marathon, like what people are eating throughout a marathon or an ultra marathon, like is so mind-boggling to me because I was talking to this ultra marathon runner who did the Moab run, I think, or maybe it was like what was the other one you said before?
Cocodona.
The Cocodona. I think it was Cocodona because that's what happened most recently, right?
I think it was. It was pretty recently, actually.
Yeah.
It
So
was
he
one-
did
yeah.
he did Cocodona, and he was telling me that like on the run, his supply they supply stuff. The run itself, like
Yeah.
the experience, they have resupplies, but he had like personal people bring him like powdered donuts and like
Yes.
Doritos, and
Yeah, you have
like
a van that's like a lot of people will have a van that's meeting them at
cookies
certain
and
points. Yeah,
chips,
exactly.
and like I'm thinking like what, like what? How is your body turning this almost like poison into nutrients? But I think with running, you improve your body's ability to absorb essentially whatever you're putting inside of it because you're like you mentioned, like you're not and the same thing with like fitness training. I think that's why like people who work out and run can get away with so much more as far as like what their diet looks like.
Sure.
Because you're improving
You
your body's...
metabolize it
You're
so quickly,
metabolizing
yeah.
it so quickly, and your body's like taking exactly whatever you're giving it, and it's like, okay, great, like let's make this a building block for energy. And maybe there's something there as far as like not always giving your body the cleanest, greenest, organicest source, because
Fast sugar. You need
exactly.
Yeah,
you know,
you
like,
need fast carbohydrates, fast sugar. Those gels, like the gels, the like they all have their own sort of je ne sais quoi,
The
like
goos.
the
Yeah.
goos, like
Yeah.
like does this one taste like that? And the best one I find is, which is the most expensive and the best marketed one right now, is those Martin gels. Have you had any of those gels?
I had my first like gel during a run today, actually, on mile 6, and it wasn't a Martin, but I saw it at the store when I was looking, and I was asking the guy about it. He's like, "Those are the best." I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna splurge my first time."
And they really do taste. What makes and it's similar texture and stuff. It tastes like tapioca. It's like it tastes like sugar tapioca, and that's like what you want. Something easy to
what
digest.
about just like honey though?
Sure.
Like, why can't you just take
But it
honey?
might be too complex. I mean, so there's this girl Dalwater. I can't remember her name now. She's been at, like she runs famously in her first name, but her last name's Dalwater. She's run and won tons of races, and she runs in like long basketball shorts. She has her own sort of thing, which is not really like
optimal, but
it's not. Like for me, I've only started running in half tights because they just seem to be the most efficient. Like
Yeah, you
your
get that
shorts
compression, you get-
yeah, the shorts get wet and they're slapping around and you can start chafing, and I'm just like, I don't know why people haven't been using half tights they just became in fashion and now they're available, and now I'm like, oh yeah, that makes the most sense. But she runs in basketball shorts and she just eats like gummy candy. That's like her main source of like whatever nutrition she's pulling in. She's eating like Sour Patch Kids, and even to the point, it's so nuanced running that people are, because there's so many little elements. I mean, like you're talking about like the not only just the foam that's in the shoe, but you're talking about the 3 different sort of foams that are in the shoe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're breaking down
Yeah.
the components because there's very little components. You could,
what shoe has a carbon fiber plate, and what's
Yeah.
the archway, and
all you
is it a
needed was-
wide toe box? Is it a narrow toe box?
Yeah, and the first marathon was running a loincloth and a fucking pair
Sandal.
of Harachas. You know what I mean? So like the elements, they're like
The leather here is just a little strip of leather, and then I like a little suede.
it's like there's no, you know what I mean? There's no possible way like to get that nuance. So they go into like what they're eating and all this. So they'll have like little blogs or whatever they are of like entries of what like her mix, and you see it's just a candy. It's just a candy. It looks like somebody's like candy drawer. Like that's what she's eating, and it makes sense because at times you're like when you're, when I've been on like long hikes and stuff like that, you want like beef jerky. You want salt.
Yeah.
You want sugar.
Anchovies.
Yeah, you just want the
sardines.
stuff that is just like that just gets right to it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's just like that. A Sour Patch like that. You're just like makes total sense that's what you
That
want.
would be so fire during a run, though, too.
There you go.
Just
That's
like salt and carbs, like
yes,
instantly. And
exactly.
That's what you need.
Exactly. So you tried your first gel today.
Yeah.
This was your inaugural gel. Was 9? Would you say 9.4 miles?
9.3, yeah.
9.3. Was that your?
Bro, that's almost half a marathon already.
Getting there, yeah.
You're getting there.
What was your-
By the end of the summer, I'll want to do the half.
And what was the gel like?
It was a magical experience.
Really?
I bought 2 gels. I had one of them before I started running, and that one had like a little bit of caffeine in it as well, and then one during the run, and it was just like, honestly, it kind of sucked. Like the gel was fine, it tasted cool, but I just did not enjoy eating while running. It was like I was like breathing weird. For
So
like
how
a
long were
little
you
bit.
running before you took the gel?
6 miles.
Okay, but what's your pace right now?
Today I ran 8:19.
Okay, you ran an 8:19 pace. So they say that you don't really need nutrition every hour and a half.
Yeah.
That's where you should start taking like each hour and a half to maintain. And this is also for ultra marathons. Like a short ultra marathon might be like a 10-hour race. So it really starts to matter after if you don't have any nutrition after each hour and a half. But if you're just out there for like, did you really need a gel is what
No.
I'm asking.
No.
You just wanted to experiment
Yeah,
sort of.
I went to the store and I was like, this looks kind of cool. Like, I'll probably have gels in my future, and I kind of wanted to see what my body would react to it because people tell me that, like, they'll eat a gel and then all of a sudden their stomach will start to hurt. So I kind of wanted to, like, hone in on what was good for me before I got to the point where I needed it.
That's a big thing about, I think,
That's solid, bro.
Any endurance rut is your gut. Gut health is huge. And I think for me personally, I have a very good gut health, and that's I think that really does help you in running.
That's huge, bro.
Totally
It's
does,
huge.
yeah.
Massive.
It's one of those things that's kind of not spoken about. I kind of get into like the nuance of like hiking gets into a whole thing too, because there's like this, and these two things are merging, like ultra marathoning and through hiking. People who do, like I said, the PCT. And there's a whole culture of that, like how to be so lightweight. They're counting grams. They're ripping the tags to save literally ounces or grams, removing tags from their clothing. How light can you go? But then,
crazy.
And not bringing enough food. And then I often weigh these things. I'm like, well, you saved weight on that candy bar. You saved weight on not having a stove. But what's the trade-off? How many calories are you burning then? And you're losing those calories, but how many calories are you burning to stay warm? Like a hot meal makes a difference. It warms you up. Like a hot meal, or just not, like they don't pack a sleeping bag, or like they take a quilt and I'm like, you're cold at night and you're shivering. You're burning calories just being cold. You burn twice as much, not twice as much, but significantly more calories to stay warm than to stay cool.
Yeah.
So these are one of these like things that you have to weigh. Like when you get into the metrics of stuff. Same thing with the gels. You're carrying those gels. Does it make your stomach nauseous? all these little things, but you do need that nutrition and that energy, or you'll just crack. Your body will start to shut down, like we were talking about. Joe famously was saying that he's like, well, I got this. I'm like, well, that was called a cramp. You got a cramp, and you should. Oh, is that chair is that buckling on you?
No, I think it might have warped a little bit from my weight underneath it, so I'm gonna sit on it this way.
Oh,
Warp
shit.
it back.
Back. There we go.
We'll bend it back into shape. So yeah, this was your first. This was your first experiment with, and that was 9.3 your longest run.
Longest consecutive. I've ran 10 before, but I stopped and got some water, took a break. This one I was just running the whole time.
Running the whole time. You took the gel while you're running?
Yeah, it sucked. I was trying to figure out how to breathe and kind of suck the gel down at the same time. It wasn't.
And what kind of gel was it?
I forgot what brand it was. It was a strawberry banana flavor. I remember that.
Huh. Yeah, that's what I like about the Martin. No flavor either.
See,
yeah, I didn't like the flavor all that much.
Get the Martins.
We talked about the gut health, but these gels, can they harm our gut?
Yeah, I think that I think that it's like a. I mean, I think that you could maintain good gut health, but I also think that gut health is one of those things that's almost like.
Are you saying you got to be able to process McDonald's?
Well, a lot of
is that a good metric?
Yeah.
If you can eat McDonald's and feel all right, you got solid gut health. But at the same time, if you're putting that in your body, you might be harming your gut health.
I don't think that you want to do it all the time. I think that it's a lot of people in this culture of ultra marathoning, which it's very much in the Southwest, is having a In-N-Out burger. Do you know what I mean? Getting an In-N-Out burger during the race is and I don't think In-N-Out. I wouldn't want to regularly eat an In-N-Out burger, but it's something about it during these high stress.
An In-N-Out burger.
Do you want to eat an In-N-Out burger all the time, though?
No.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I like to have and there was a time in my life where I was the burger is the best value meal in New York City, and I kind of feel like it still is in a lot of ways. Burger prices. Michael's, for instance, over here. You're familiar with Michael's, the restaurant?
I've never been.
It's over on 3rd here, and there's a companion restaurant in New York City. So they own two. They own one in New York City and one here in Santa Monica. And I know Chaz, who owns it. He's very similar to you. His father famously runs Michael's, but he's he's taking it over. You have no plans, obviously. You're going to medical school of taking over your father's business, but he kind of runs it by default. And now they're charging $39 for a burger.
Atrocious.
That's a lot
Don't
of
you
money,
think that's
yeah.
insane?
That's
That is
crazy.
insane. You go to In-N-Out, which arguably for me is a really good burger.
Yeah.
Not super high quality, but it's really good.
Decent
Yeah.
quality though.
Yeah,
It's
it is,
decent.
It's decent.
It's decent.
You get it for what,
$6? Yeah.
39.
So they're serving.
Absurd.
They had the burger over there before, and I can't remember what the price was. And this is also a complaint. They served the burger at first, before sort of a la carte, which was like a burger on a plate without French fries. You're just like, what are you doing? Why even do that? But
I fuck with it, bro. I fuck with just getting a straight burger.
okay, so you like the choice. Me, I like so.
You think a burger needs to come with fries?
I think it should, or you should have the choice to option it out for a salad if you're somebody who doesn't want to eat French fries. I get that, but what I'm trying to say is that, and I know a lot of people do at In-N-Out, they'll do it with lettuce. Do you know that you've seen
The protein style.
Protein.
the protein style?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
Which
did
is
that
funny
the other
because it's
day.
not even more protein.
It's probably less, arguably.
Yeah,
lettuce versus bread. I don't really. It might even be 1 for 1.
you're
but
just
yeah,
not
definitely
getting the
more.
carbohydrates.
Yeah, that's it. I had the argument with my dad over the weekend that it should be called the less carb burger or the lettuce wrap. I don't know. The protein style seemed a little interesting.
Protein style is really catchy though.
It is really.
It's a great
that
name.
I think the protein style is to say that we're isolating the protein. You're getting the protein isolated rather than it just to be with carbs.
I see it now. Yeah.
You know what I'm trying
see
to
it
say?
now. I
It's
see it now.
we're accentuating the positive, reinforcing the positive, and negating the
There we
negative.
go. We're getting
Yeah.
back to a normal.
Normal crate.
A normal
normal-ish
crate.
crate.
We should, if you want. Well,
Maybe
you
go-
probably got to go, huh?
Yeah, I'll hand this back to you in a second, but
Luca.
where do you want this guy?
Oh, we'll just take it over here. Luke, we could talk forever, Luke. I mean, you could come. You're welcome to come back again.
Yeah, whenever
We wanna have
you're
your-
here. can always text me. I'll be
Luca, we're here
down to come.
every single
We're doing it
Wednesday.
every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday?
Every
So-
Wednesday during the farmers market. So you're always welcome to come visit.
Just walk by, bro.
It's fast
I
and
will,
loose.
yeah.
I want to have your dad come. I want to interview your dad at one point too. You think he'd do it?
I'll ask him
He
about
already,
it today.
I already talked to him. He wants to be on the show. He wants to have
Well-
us at the restaurant for a show where we make pasta and we like interact with the restaurant. We talk to him about it, almost like a restaurant review
Let's do
slash
it.
behind the scenes.
That
Let's
sounds
do
sick.
it.
That's the inside scoop, you guys. That's
Yeah.
We're gonna do it. What shorts are you running in?
These are Voorhees.
Or did you run in those?
I did run in these. Yeah, I really like them actually because they have this like liner,
They have a liner.
and the liner I really like. It feels like underwear.
Oh, okay. So
Super comfortable.
and it's like it's almost like a half tight liner.
Yeah, yeah.
You
The
know what I
liner
mean?
on the inside's like tight. It stays
Yeah.
and it like wicks all the sweat away, so this doesn't get wet. Because like when it doesn't have a liner and I run for a long time, the short itself is gonna soak up.
I
And
know.
I don't like it at all.
That's why I said I started running in the half tights.
Yeah, I want to look into those for like
Get-
longer.
Get into the. I
distances.
mean, for me, it's just like I still will run in a pair. Like I'll be like, let me go back to trying some shorts again, and I'm always just like, they just get like I'm on my longer runs. Like if I do like 13, 14, 15 miles, you get into that territory. You get into like chafe territory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Once you're wet, especially if you're like in the trail. I run a bunch of trails over here now, less so since after the fires, but
Yeah.
still get a beyond in Malibu up there, and I still do some trail running up there. But yeah, the half tights is a game changer.
I gotta look into those. Yeah, those look really. I've seen them before, and like
Yeah.
every like really good runner that I've ever like seen run
Yeah.
is wearing those shorts. So I'm
They're
like,
doing it,
There
yeah.
has to be something that this short has that others don't.
Yeah, I started seeing Kip Kaj, the sub 2 marathoner, and those group of like African
Kipchoge,
guys.
yeah.
Kipchoge. Those group of guys, they're all in half tights. You're like, if they're running in half tights, I would imagine that they're, these are like the highest performance. And
Yeah,
then
these
I
guys are the best of the best.
yeah, so it just makes sense. But yeah, it was a pleasure, Luca, having you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, you guys. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll speak to your dad hopefully soon
Yeah,
enough.
come by the restaurant
I'll s-
anytime.
Are
Here,
you
I'll
gonna,
hand this back to
Sure.
you.
Are you going to be there today?
I'll probably not because I'm going back to my mom's house and she lives like Valley area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she moved.
Cool.
Back to you. Yeah, she moved. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, man. That was sweet. That was fun. I had a good time. Dude. Actually, you said every Wednesday you're gonna be here.
Wednesday, and I'll see you around, man.
Yeah, dude. I'm
here for?
till like mid-August. I'm going back to school. Yeah, I'm going to Brazil for a little bit to visit family.
So we got Luca on the show here. He's exiting.
Good to see you, dude. Happy to go to say hi. It's been so long. Thank you so much.
Of
for having
course,
me. I really
man.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's
of
fun.
course.
I had a
It was.
good time.
Come by again. I told you. What's that?
It's 11:30.
11:30.
All right. Have a good rest of your podcast.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
That was sweet. Yeah.
Yeah,
thank
cool.
you.
Of course, man.
I'm gonna go get this girl Savannah to see if she wants to be on the show.
Who's Savannah?
She works at the butter place.
Okay.
Nut butter.
Yeah. That's a wrap.
Rappity, rappity, rap.
I've been watching him for my entire life. I hate the air he breathes, his foolish decrees, his words so contrived. And I hate the way the townspeople gather outside. They hang on every breath, cling to his chest, home to his heart full of pride. The oracle told him to beware the eyes, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't wishing for an untimely death or demise. Or am I just wishing I could be like you, that the people would see me too as a poet, and not just the muse? Oh, it's not true, I don't wish harm upon you. For we're born like brothers of different mothers, but from the spirit of the same womb. May the gods strike me down if I forsake you. Frater meus, you're beautifully made, and to you I'm forever grateful. I'll never forget that you showed me to make art, and I know the love you showed me came from a pure and noble heart. I love you, and if you want, I'll call you king. But why do
Hello?
I lay awake each night thinking, instead of you, it should be me? Something wicked this way goes, and as I said to face it, I'm unsure. Should I embrace it? Should I run? What motivates me? Hatred? Is it love? What's more wrong that I too wish to be great, and my mother wished she'd had a son? And even if I can't be the one, maybe I could at least help make way for him until the day that he comes. Maybe my name could also be known, that I help return good to the people, restore greatness to Rome.
All right, that's a wrap.